Paul, you've just said on the radio there, when we got into those key positions, the key areas on the pitch, not clinical enough.
No, we weren't. We weren't good enough in that final third. We huffed and puffed and created quite a few opportunities, particularly first half. Second half was maybe not as clear cut, but if you don't take chances, you get punished, and that's a real big learning for us tonight. And it's been the story of our season so far, and maybe the story of last season a bit as well. You know, when we, you know, if you can't finish teams off, finish chances off, you're going to make it difficult, and that's what's happened tonight.
People who weren't here, they'll always level the criticism. Were you complacent going into the game? Was there an edge of that from the players? I don't think you'll accept that, will you?
Not a chance, no. No, there was no complacency. I used the opportunity to make sure everybody gets minutes, but that's not a complacent attitude. That was Taylor Charters is coming back from injury. I needed him to play. Duncan Idahan's just come into the club. I needed him to play. Jay Harris in midfield, Sonny Hilton, Jack Stretton, they all needed minutes, and we also had to manage the rest of the group, because it's important that, you know, we've got everybody up to speed in terms of games. Well, I've looked at the next few weeks. We've got this game tonight where it gave me a chance. We've got another first team fixture on Saturday where hopefully Huntington will be okay after the kick he got. Callum Guy will be okay. Jack Armour and Finn Back will be freshened up after having to put a stint in because we've got no cover there. And then we've got another reserve Central League Cup next Tuesday where lads will get minutes again, because I need to have everybody up to speed, because you cannot replicate matches by just training. You have to play football, and I think that showed tonight. Jayden was shattered at the end. Duncan Hayden getting cramp after 60 minutes. You know, Jack Ellis was ill, so he went off. Taylor was only ever going to play 45 minutes. So there was things that we've seen from tonight, and we can learn a hell of a lot. I think this is a really good competition for learning things. So we've learnt a lot about our squad, some good things, some negative things. But my biggest learning is that technical ability that we've seen from them young United players, we've got to try and get as close to that. We might not ever get to that level, but we've got to do everything we possibly can as people, players in particular, to make sure that they get to that level of technical ability.
You just said something that you've touched on before. Sometimes we can be critical of players who haven't had the minutes, then they're thrust into something like this and they're not quite there. Yeah. That's actually a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and we're guilty of it as coaches, because we come away from games saying, oh, they're nowhere near it. But we maybe have to take the blame as well, because they haven't had the minutes. So, you know, you look at the lads today, people like Sonny hasn't had loads of minutes, Jack Stretton hasn't had loads of minutes, Duncan, Jayden, Jack Ellis has had a few games of late, but nothing at the weekend. So there's opportunities in this competition. There's an opportunity next Tuesday where the lads will get minutes to make sure that they're up to speed. Now, we can put them into the team, but they've got to go and work. They've got to go and do it, and they've got to make sure they cover the distance and get repeated sprints in and be physical and competitive. And hopefully if they do that, they'll get up to speed that we need for League 2 football.
Rewind all the way to the second minute, I think it was, and it shows, doesn't it? Games change on chances, and we have a chance to take the lead. It would have been a different game, cliche or not. Score that goal, and off we go.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been something to hang on to. It's funny because before I went into the change room, before the game, I was looking at the early kickoffs, and Burton Albion went 4-0 up within 12 minutes against Leicester's under-21s, and you think that's the momentum that you need to take. Now, again, just before I came here, I happened to see that it finished 4-2, so Leicester obviously had a bit of a go up after that first 12 minutes, but we should have been one up. Not could have, should have been one up. We had other opportunities that you have to be clinical. Really pleased we're getting in the areas, we're creating the opportunities, and again, second half we did. The simple truth of it is you have to be able to finish them, and if we're going to improve and if we're going to stay in a positive position in the league table, we have to be better in that final third.
I'm guessing going into it, the lads themselves would have expected to have beaten the Manchester United under-21 side, but again, that isn't the case in football, is it?
No, you can't. You can't expect anything. You've got to go and make it happen. I don't think there was any level of complacency at all. We prepared exactly the same for the game. We had a meeting with the players yesterday, and I showed them the things that they are capable of. We also showed them the areas where we felt we could be dangerous and we could exploit them. And I think we have done. I think we've done a lot of positive things. I also think they have. I think they've got some right good footballers there, and you know, you'd like to think that in a year or two possibly some of those lads are going to be playing on a Premier League stage, and hopefully they'll have learnt things tonight about where they need to go and the physicality and that sort of stuff. My main concern is to make sure that we've learned a lot of things from tonight, and I hope that's the case.
You've mentioned that clinical edge. Is that something that concerns you at this stage of the season, or is that going to drop in for us?
I can't honestly sit here with a crystal ball and tell you that. The only way you're going to is by working hard and making sure you repeat the skill day in, day out in training. Take it seriously. Too many times when we do passing drills and when we do finishing drills, we don't work the goalkeeper enough. Now I'm afraid if you can't do it on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it doesn't just happen on a Saturday. You know, I've only ever come across one player in my whole career since 1982 who didn't have to train but then was world class on a match day. We are not, simple as that. We're not that. I'm not that as a coach. The players are not that as individuals, and we've got to make sure that we work as hard as we possibly can, day in, day out, to give ourselves the best chance of being successful.
You're a manager who's big on reaction. You keep saying that. Defeat, don't make it two. How did they react in the dressing room just then?
They were quiet. To be honest with you, I didn't give them a chance to speak. I didn't ask them any questions. I just told them my thoughts. There's no ranting and raving. It's not a case of that. The only way we can react is by coming back in the next time we train on Thursday and making sure that it's sleeves rolled up when we're ready to go come Saturday afternoon, and that's the next one that matters now.
And it is individual. They have to show you that, don't they? They all have to show you that, you know, I am going to be ready when you call them.
Oh no, that's the only thing that matters. They've got to be right. You know, we have a couple of concerns for the weekend in terms of injuries. I've had players tonight who I didn't want to play the full 90, but they've had to because of little situations with Jack being ill and Duncan coming off. So everybody's in the frame come the weekend, and they've got to make sure they come back in fresh on Thursday.
You mentioned that bug. Is that something that's still bugging the dressing room at the moment?
Well, it has done tonight, yeah. We've had a couple, maybe 3 or 4 who were struggling a bit at half time. There's a few at the weekend. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what's causing it. But we've got to hope that it gets out of the system. And listen, I've just thought as I'm speaking, it sounds like I'm making excuses. It's not an excuse, and I don't want anybody to think that. We've been undone by some really good technical footballers tonight, and we've also undone ourselves because we haven't been clinical in the final third and done that side of it right.
I know you like the lads to be competing for second ball. Certainly the first goal comes from a couple of 50-50 challenges that don't go our way. It's another lesson, isn't it? You keep saying you've got to be in there and winning it.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of overplaying on our left-hand side. We gave the ball away, and then I think there was probably 3 challenges that we could have won, and we didn't. The second goal disappoints me a little bit because we've had 2 or 3 players all stopped and walked, and I think it's took a deflection. It's really hard to see on the footage that I've just seen before I come in. It looked like it took a deflection to me. I think sometimes you can make your own luck when there's deflections, and tonight we didn't.
Good teams take these slaps in the face and they move on from them.
Well, we hope so. Yeah. We are trying to achieve a status of being a good team. That's what we're working to try and do. And the only way we'll show that is by making sure we react properly at the weekend. You know, I'm not going to get too screwed up about this tonight. I'm disappointed we've lost. I think we've had opportunities where we could have kept ourselves in the game and possibly gone on and won it. Got a draw and took it to pens, but maybe even won it. My big thing is learn from it. When you lose games, you have to learn. And my big learning tonight is that technically we need to be better.
I think we've got nearly 3,000 Carlisle fans at a competition that's seen as controversial by most of the fan base. You're getting a lot of backing off our supporters.
That was fantastic tonight. When I turned round and saw the paddock, I thought it was incredible to see the numbers that we've had in today, and that is brilliant. And fair play to the United fans as well for coming along tonight. So I think it's been really well supported. I like this competition, I really do, and you know it's been good for me in my career. I think you can learn so many things from it, and also hopefully we can actually coming and playing in these games, we're educating young footballers at these top academies that makes them better for the future of English football.
Paul, thanks for